know that I am the host of the Here and Now show. And I was just on the air like not even 44 minutes ago, only to realize only 6 minutes of my show was streaming. I don't know. It seems like, the public library, you would think, oh, it's a library, but then for some reason, it does not want to be dealing with me. So I apologize for the 6 short minutes of my very important show. The topic was living in your truth, even when it ain't cute. I was excited about the topic. I still am. I'm just a little baffled that, oh my God, I was there for 44 minutes, but it only streamed for 6 minutes. So, I want you guys to know that I'll be back on the air Thursday. It will not be the same topic, but however, I will touch base on that particular topic. Um, but mainly, if you guys only got to tune in for 6 minutes, it wasn't because of me. It was actually lack of the computer. I wanted to say thank you all for tuning in. That did tune in with me. It was very blessed. Felt very good. And at the same time, I told a few stories. I spoke on the story about a true story. For me, it's true. There's nothing authentic about that. About living in my truth, being in a relationship that wasn't for me, seeing the signs at that time when I was in college, and to me, they wasn't signs. It was just me not having the knowledge to recognize that crazy doesn't always introduce itself. Crazy sometimes shows up with a Colgate smile and compliments. And that's what it was, and it was a disguise, and I had to grow through and actually run out of that relationship to save myself or to be able to be here, right now, to talk about and to understand that growth isn't easy, but it is powerful. Um, it's something that, you grow and you see things and you're like, when you look back, like, I didn't see it then, but I see it now. And so I know you're like, you were just on here, you were streaming. But again, like I said, I was on here for 44 minutes, but only 6 minutes stream. So then I'm like, at this moment where I'm like, why is only 6 minutes streaming? I had so much that I was talking about. So as a host, I do apologize. I'm not sure what actually happened with the internet. But however, sometimes being at the library, I guess there's thousands of people that's, moving motion with the internet to be expected to run slow. So I do apologize. But as I was saying, my topic was, you know, living in your truth, even when it's not cute. And I have personally, right here, right now, I am walking and I'm living in my truth. You know, and don't be ashamed of your truth, because once you live in your truth and you acknowledge your truth, you are free, right? Your spirit is free, because there's nothing more overwhelming than feeling like you're not free and you're in this relationship, whether it's, a relationship that a man has with a woman, or a woman has with a man, or a woman has with a woman, or a man has with a man. You're in a relationship, right? And when it starts to feel like you're losing yourself, that's when you know it's time for me to go, because now I'm losing who I am. And you don't ever want that to happen. And that's what I was talking about for 44 minutes today. I guess, I was speaking on it, talking about it, and it felt really good to know that, when you live in your truth, something about living in your truth, just it makes you smile, because you're living in it and you're not ashamed of your past. And a lot of people, they think that, they're going to judge me because, this is what happened. Or they're going to judge me because of this. Who Worry not about judgment, because I tell you one thing about this podcast, baby, I don't judge. Never. Never. Because, you know, you don't never know what anyone is going through. And also, when I was in my podcast today, I was sharing a story, and I'll share it again. It says, "Hi, how are you doing? Yes, really. I was on the air for 44 minutes, and guess what? Only six of it streamed. So really, I'm just back. I apologize. Um, homeless Yeah, I know there's homeless people outside, and where I currently live. I normally stream from the library from my room, but today, because I had to restream, I'm streaming from home. Like outside, there's like a school over there, and it's a football game going. Hello, somebody. I feel great. But homeless people are outside. They're people too. They're just homeless, right? And maybe that's them living in their truth. Because if you're just tuning in, that's what I'm talking about. Living in your truth. Whether you're homeless or whatever you are, you're living it and you're still surviving. I had spoke about a story earlier. Yeah, I don't. Well, nice. Yeah, I don't. Okay, I don't. That's great, but it's glad to have you here. I'm glad that you're here. Talking. But again, I streamed earlier about 44 minutes ago. Only six of it I streamed for some reason, but you can hear the music, huh? This is reality for your ass. This is straight up reality. I'm really at home. I'm really outside, and I'm really going with it because I'm imperfect. I feel great, and I feel like I had to come back to say a little more because my show was short. So, hello, somebody. I am grateful for that, that I'm able to still do it without feeling judged. Hello, somebody. Don't be judged. Don't judge. And as I was on my show, I was explaining a story that I was telling. I love my stories. If you tune into my show, I love me some stories. And I was telling a true story about before, walking in my truth, as I'm still doing today. Before I expose myself, I'm still walking in my truth. Okay, I'm still living proof of it. So anything that I tell you is true. Um, and I take you guys back a long time, some years back when I was in college, right? That college is supposed to be those years where you're getting higher education, you're meeting people, you're having fun. You might even go to parties, you might even do some weird shit. But college is supposed to be fun, right? But instead of it being that for me, I was invested in a stressful relationship. It was terrible. And at the time, I wasn't aware that, hey, this was toxic. I just knew that it was unhealthy. I just didn't have a word for it. And at first things was pretty simple. It started off as, where are you at? Where am I at? I'm in class. And then it went from, who are you texting? The mama. Texting her to tell you how terrible you're treating me. I'm texting myself about this terrible relationship that I'm in. And then it went from, why didn't you text me in 2 minutes? I was asleep. And again, that relationship at that time could have and potentially tried to destroy me. But I always had that voice in my head, telling me, you can do better. You're not alone. I'm here with you. I'm just waiting on you to come follow my words. And a year or so after going through this trauma ass relationship, something snapped. I heard something in my spirit. My spirit began to get sick. And when your spirit is trying to tell you something like this is not for you, you would dream about it. You would think about it. You might even sit here and you'd be daydreaming about it because your spirit would be so sick trying to tell you to leave. Because there was a point in my life where I was giving everybody chances. You get a chance. You get a chance. You get a chance. Hell, I was the opera. I was giving everyone chances. Meanwhile, God was in heaven like, absolutely not. We're not just going to be giving out chances like that, right? Because not everybody deserves access to you. And as I went through my journey in college and I went through that toxic, abusive relationship, knowing that I had that voice and that part of me that was there, but it was quiet because, it was a choice for it to be quiet. I didn't have the discipline. And once that came to, and I realized, oh my words, I'm sitting in my car like, baby, you are worth more than what you're dealing with. And guess what? I ran the hell out of that relationship. And and I ran like a blind person, running in some fire with running in a burning house, matter of fact, with blindfolds on, trying to find her way out. I found it. I am so proud of myself because I look back now like, wow, I love myself enough to protect my peace to leave, and I left. And there were times that I would question the relationship when I was healing, questioning things, and those questions soon became answers when I seen that I was free. My peace was more important than that relationship that I was in. So living in your truth doesn't always have to look pretty. It's not. It's just not. You know, but you know who you are, and we know when things. You know when. I guess it hits different when you know that you're in a situation that you already know in your heart was not good, and that maybe that you're playing in a situation that is probably not gonna play out the way you wanted it to. It's kind of like, going to a restaurant and you get food poison, and then you go back to the restaurant thinking, oh, man, if I order chicken, no, it's not about the chicken. The chicken doesn't give a damn about you. No, no, you're exhausted. It's nothing there. So, and I'm firsthand. I know what it feels like to walk out of a situation when you have invested and you had hope. But all that investment and hope, what if that was a lesson? The lesson to bring to the person that you are today, because that's what it was for me. It was a lesson. All that pain that I went through, it was a lesson for me. It was a lesson to breed me, to bring me to the person that I am today. Now I look back like, you did that, girl, and you can do the same. Uh, so I, I don't want to sound short when I say this, but I do thank you all for tuning into my show, and I do apologize for the 6 minute stream. It was never my intentions, but I will be back on Thursday at 5 o'clock on that. And maybe, I hope you guys join me then. I'll have a different subject. We're gonna be talking, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna all be friends. And there's nothing more greater than meeting and having friends or friends alike, real friends. And as a fact, with that being said, my next show on Thursday, we're talking about friendship, baby. We're talking about good, the bad, the ugly. I'm even, touching toes on men and women really can be best friends. I'm not gonna expose all of that right now, but I have a topic, I have a conversation that I want you guys to be a part of next Thursday, 5 o'clock. And hopefully the internet won't get gray on me. And even if it does, guess what? I'll do it again. Because that's what we do. You get up and you try it again. Don't let one thing stop the show. You keep going, keep going, and keep going. And also, you guys, stay in tune with me with Marshall's Books and more. Marshall with one L. It is a wonderful brand. It is wonderful clothing. As a fact, I branded all of that. It is my brand, and I would love you guys to support my book signing. Missing my daughter Ava, book 3 is now ready. Yeah. And I would love for you guys to be a part of my book signing event, which will be next month. So keep your ears open and your calendars open, because guess what? I'm gonna let you guys know exactly when it is, and you guys could be a part of it. You know. And hey, I'm thinking maybe you guys give me some input. Should I do this book signing on Zoom, or should I do it in person? Because guess what? If I do it on Zoom, you guys can tune too. Well, that'd be great. And we can all see each other. So thank you for tuning in. I apologize that earlier was a quiet stream, but quick, not on purpose. We keep going and we keep showing up. So living your truth, you are. I'm proud of you. If no one's told you that today, I am proud of you. You're thinking, what are you proud of me for trying again? I'm proud of you for surviving. I'm proud of you for being who you are and who you were and who you used to be and who you are now. That's what I'm proud of. So again, I can only be me. I thank you guys for being right here, right now with me on the Here and Now show. Um, I'm not perfect, But I love you all. And again, like I said, check me out. Life is great. But until we meet again, I'll see you guys. Now that is loud music. Boom, boom. It happens when you're just being real. Now, this is just real. This is real music, real games, real life, real stream. So thank you guys for tuning in. It has meant the absolute world to me. I appreciate all of you who tuned in for your comments. They're all needed, whether they're negative, but we don't want that. But I can eat that up too because guess what? Negative helps me grow too. And sometimes people say negative things. You're like, oh, let me polish that. So, you know, so thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, those that did, those that didn't, the negative comments, the positive comments, keep them coming because life is great. That don't stop the show. So I thank you guys for tuning into the Here and Now show. I love you, and I'll see you guys soon.